It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Salt Lake Community College Associate Head Softball Coach, Coach Tara Rodrick. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start coaching in college softball?
Yes. Actually didn't know right away. I played college softball myself and then started coaching my little sister's travel team, and that's kind of where I kind of grew to love coaching. I loved the girls. I loved seeing them get better and just create a really good bond with them. So then, like, once I finished my college experience, I volunteered a couple years and kind of just started learning the college coaching game and all of that, and just fell in love with it. It's kind of how it all started.
Of course, what was it like going to Salt Lake Community College to play college softball?
It was amazing. Salt Lake Community College has always had like a good reputation, especially here in Utah. It's kind of the school you go to. I think a lot of Utah girls want to stay close to home. But it's also the program, the pride, and all that stuff that the colleges brought to the community. So it was a big deal for me. I respected the coach a lot at the time. Really got to know her, played for her in the summer and all that stuff. And it was just a really good fit for me to start at Salt Lake Community College to learn and grow and just better myself and understand the college game a little bit more. The game changes when you go from the high school level to the college level. So I think it was a really good transition and start for myself and anyone, honestly, to acclimate as a college athlete.
Of course, what was that like going from Salt Lake Community College and playing and then going to University of Las Vegas to play?
Also amazing. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Probably the best decision I made was it allowed me to get away, experience new things, new people. Salt Lake prepared me for that. It prepared me to be mentally tough enough and prepared for the next level, the university level. So I felt like walking in there as a transfer, I was ready to just kind of jump in and be successful and contribute to my team right away. That was thanks to Salt Lake, and UNLV was just absolutely amazing. I loved Las Vegas. I loved my coaches, my teammates. It was just a really, really great experience.
What was that experience like getting to put on both the Salt Lake and the UNLV softball jersey?
Great as well. Highly recommend it. Like, being a college athlete is a special experience, and it's kind of like a bond I think any college athlete shares with each other. We all know what we go through. It's a grind. It's a full-time job, and it's honestly the best full-time job that you could ever have. So wearing those jerseys is a big deal. Pride, it's hard work, it's commitment, it's dedication, and it's something that you earn and have a lot of respect for it.
Of course, during your college career in both schools, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
Here at Salt Lake, I became an All-American, which was probably the biggest, I think, accomplishment altogether. That's a hard thing to do at any level, and so having that accolade was probably one of my proudest moments. I was also the SWAC Player of the Year for our conference, my sophomore year. And we won our conference both years here. So we had a really good team environment. And then going on to UNLV, we went to the the regionals. We played at UCLA that year for the regionals in 2009. And that was such an amazing experience as well, to be able to be a part of that. Higher competition level. I mean, obviously you're Division I, and then you have the making it to regionals, which is an experience in its own, and that was awesome. I had the highest batting average on my team both years at UNLV, and I think I still have a few records there for some things. I did an interview with them last year, I think it was. just kind of a spotlight thing, and found out with some of the records I had that I didn't even know about. So that was pretty cool. And then I have academic All-American accomplishments as well, which are also very important. Academics takes you a little bit farther than college softball. So those are important to me as well.
Of course, while you were playing at Salt Lake, what was it like getting to play with your sister?
She's my best friend. So I have an identical twin. Her and I obviously were inseparable all growing up, and softball was our thing together. She was a pitcher. And we never left each other's side. So it was normal, but it was amazing. Like having just like your best friend by your side the whole time, and being able to compete with each other was the best experience ever. And then we separated. She went to Southern Utah when I was at UNLV. So that was different and hard for us, but also a good thing for us for our own personal growth and all that good stuff. But loved that experience, and I would do it all over again.
Of course, after your playing time at ULV, what was it like playing professional softball?
Dream come true. So fun. I got to play with so many people that I watched and looked up to, and Lisa Fernandez, who I wrote like a report on in elementary school back in the day, was actually played with us on our team, which was such a just unbelievable experience. The coaching that I had on that team, Kirk Walker, Dot Richardson being involved, all those kind of just amazing people, and an amazing experience to play with people that I looked up to, that I watched play in the College World Series, all that kind of stuff. So it was fun. Got to meet, obviously make new friends and play with some of the best softball players in the world. So it was also very rewarding and unbelievable experience.
After your professional softball career, what was it like getting into college coaching and first coaching on the high school level?
I did them both at the same time, actually. So I coached, I helped our now, my other head coach, Cindy Bennett. I helped her coach her high school team at the same time I was the volunteer assistant at University of Utah. And so it was very busy going back and forth between the two. Obviously, I was with Utah a little bit more than I was with the high school. I actually wasn't there too much. I went when I could, but different experiences for sure, just different talent levels, different abilities. So, which I think is good for a coach to experience that, be able to acclimate to your environment and see what the kids need to learn, what they need to grow as well. But for me, that was kind of the years where I was really just kind of learning and soaking things in, and how I was going to be as a coach and what worked for me to communicate with the kids and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good balance, and a busy time in my life, but worth it.
How is it like obviously becoming the volunteer assistant for your alma mater of ULV?
That was also very fun. UNLV will always hold a special place in my heart. It's kind of I would go back there and do everything all over again. So being there and being able to it was in the beginning of my career. So just learn and listen and just kind of soak everything in was awesome. I was with the coach that coached me there. Some of the girls I played with were still there. So it was a good learning experience of growth and all that stuff of what was going to make me successful as a coach.
What was that experience like getting your first full-time job at Utah Valley?
Incredible as well. Like I said, I wasn't planning on really coaching college. It just kind of started happening, and I just fell in love with it. And so when that experience came up, I jumped on it. It was awesome. I was able to it was an interim. So what happened was, it was late. So I came in in October. So I didn't get to meet the girls and have the fall experience with them, but was able to get that position and come in, and just same thing. It was my first paid gig. It was my first actual job, and we had a great year that year. The head coach there and I worked very well together. We had a great team, good girls that worked hard. So that was a good getting my feet wet moment, I think, as an actual coach.
What was that feeling like when you got that call from Salt Lake to come back to your alma mater to become the associate head coach?
Whirlwind. It was Cindy and I had known each other for a long time, and so when she called and asked if I would be interested in applying or interested in it, it was a no-brainer. Kind of like Salt Lake Community College is like a dream job for me. Like it was where I started, and I've been so lucky to be back here for so long. So it was honestly a dream job and the greatest start to building my career, and I've been here ever since. Obviously I love it. So yeah, it was a dream job for me, dream job opportunity. So it was really a no-brainer to come back here and start to build my career here.
What are some of the things that you took from your time at ULV and Utah to help you at Salt Lake?
Two different coaching styles. So it was good for me to kind of just see the different coaching styles and what worked and what didn't work. And just kind of take what I could. I feel like I evolved as a coach from all the coaches that I was around and able to work with and be with, and what worked for me and how my coaches coached me. And so just having all of those tools and that information and seeing all of that was huge for me. It allowed me to learn and grow and just develop and kind of see what I liked and what I see worked and different things like that. So the different environments, the different coaches, all that kind of stuff, I thought was huge. And I think that's a big thing for anybody nowadays wanting to coach, is just gaining as much knowledge and, knowing that there's always room to grow, always room to improve. And that was a big thing for me, was seeing all those little things from all the different personalities and different coaching styles.
Of course, how is it like going from being an assistant coach at Salt Lake to being promoted to become the associate head coach where you are now?
Well, it's officially been a week, so it's still new. But I think it's pretty much the same. It's we have a really great working relationship, the head coach and I, and we've always got along really well, and we bounce ideas off of each other, and we're like, what she covers or I cover the opposite and all that kind of stuff. So we bounce around and just get everything needed done, and it's super helpful. So right now it's not too much different. It's kind of just like the title and stuff like that, but I'm very, very honored to have it and grateful to still be here for it.
How is it like obviously helping the Salt Lake team go to the tournament since 2017?
Yes. Great. Winning our conference and winning our region every year is just an experience every single year. It's so fun. It's what you're working for. It's what the goal is all the time. And so anytime you reach that goal and accomplish that and be at the national tournament is obviously a huge check mark in the season, in the year, just, check that off the list and stuff. And so it's always a good experience to go, and it's good for our girls to go. It's a very competitive environment, and if you're not going consistently, it's kind of hard to win there. So it's a big deal when we go, and it's a big deal to kind of stay consistent, to continue to go, just so your girls can have that experience. When you're at a 2-year level, it's hard because there's so much change every single year. It's a new year our new team pretty much every year. You don't have that 4-year kid every time. So being able to go to that tournament is a big deal for our kids to gain that experience and that knowledge for the next season.
Of course, as a coach and an alma mater, what was that experience like going as a coach to that tournament? And did you go as a player during your time?
Sadly, I didn't. When I was here at Salt Lake, we won our conference both times, but we never got it done in the regional tournament to get to nationals, which was hard and is always something that just sticks with us. I'm sure my teammates agree to that. So I didn't actually get to go as a player. So going as a coach has been amazing. Like we've gone quite a few times, and you learn something new every year. Just you learn the little things that are important. You learn what it takes to win at that level and at that next step in our for the junior college to win the tournament. We've taken second at nationals 4 times, so we have a lot of experience there, and every year you just learn a little bit more, and you're just trying to keep learning and growing to see what it's going to take to get us to that #1 spot at the end of the year.
What does a typical game day look like for Salt Lake Community College as a coach versus your time as a player?
As a player, it was a lot easier. It was just, your routine. You get up, I was kind of superstitious, so I always had my superstitions of what you ate in the morning, whatever, that kind of stuff. You did the same things over and over, but which is funny nowadays. But that was it was a little bit easier, less stress, which is weird. Nowadays, as a coach, it's a little bit more stressful, like having to make sure everything's taken care of. We have everything we need. We have all of our scouting charts, our paperwork, our signed cards, all that stuff. Like all the girls have all their uniforms. You're making sure everybody's there on time, making sure warm-ups go smooth, making sure everything's set up, making sure the lineups are written down, all that stuff. So it's a lot more busy work as a coach than it was as a player. As a player, it was kind of focusing on yourself, getting yourself ready for the game, and obviously getting into your teammates and that energy and that excitement to compete and win. And as a coach, you have that on top of all the other business side of stuff. So it's a little bit busier.
Of course, who are some of the teams that you face each week in your conference?
There's 6 teams in our conference, including ourselves. So we have Southern Idaho and Twin Falls, Idaho. We have Northern Colorado, which is in Rangeley, Colorado. We have Snow College, which is in Ephraim, Utah, like an hour and a half from here. USU Eastern, which is in Price, Utah, which is same about an hour and a half from here. And then we have Southern Nevada, which is in Henderson, Las Vegas area. So pretty good. Everything's relatively close. Our farthest drive is Las Vegas, so makes our commutes and our travel really easy.
Of course, what is that like, obviously, getting to play those teams like Snow College?
Good. We have a very competitive conference, so it makes it fun and it challenges our girls every weekend. You play a doubleheader every Friday and a doubleheader every Saturday against the same team. So 4-game series in a weekend against the same team. So it's very competitive and it challenges you mentally as well as physically and making adjustments and all that kind of stuff, because you get to know each other really, really well by playing that many games against each other. So we have a very competitive conference and it makes it fun. It's always a challenge and it's always pushing our girls to get better.
Of course, during your time as a player, did you play any of the teams that you currently play now?
Yep. When I was out Salt Lake, we played all of these schools except for USU Eastern. USU Eastern wasn't a program yet, but all the schools in our conference were still in our conference back in that day.
Of course, as a coach, what is that like, obviously, going to those schools now as a coach versus when you were playing?
I think you just see things a little bit differently as a coach. Like back then, it was just like the other team, the other field, all that kind of stuff. And nowadays, you see a little bit more and you respect each other a little bit more. The coaches on a little bit different level, their campuses, their environments. We have obviously like little coaching meetings. You get to know their personalities a little bit more. So it's a lot of the little things that when you were a player didn't matter. Like, who cares about the other team? Who cares about the other coach? That's our competition. That's who you're competing against. That's who you're trying to beat. You knew how good they were. You knew what you needed to do to beat them. But as a coach, it's a little bit more of a network as well as a competition. Like you're kind of gaining friendships and respecting each other as opponents, as well as in our conference and outside of the conference and things like that. So it's just a different mindset, I think, a different view of things.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play college softball?
Nowadays for them, it's pretty easy. Like just going to camps and sending us emails, sending us little 5-minute video clips of like their skill level, different things like that. They have so many resources with like social media and stuff like that they can kind of reach out to us and we can kind of get to know them and see them a little bit more, as well as more often. I remember back when I was playing, it was not that easy to get in contact with coaches. And so nowadays that technology and that fast communication with coaches and colleges and stuff like that is I think that they're very lucky for that. So they have a lot of opportunities to get seen and a lot of opportunities to communicate with us and get recruited. So camps are huge. I think going to camps are a big deal. That's where we kind of get to know our kids personally and they get to see us a little bit more in action. We can get to know their personalities a little bit more than versus in an email or a video that they're sending us. So I always highly recommend camps, and that's where we like to see our kids as well as coming to our camps.
What are some of the things that you look at in those prospective student athletes on the high school level?
being a good teammate is huge. So how they communicate with their teammates, how they treat their coaches. I think you can see that by watching as well. Their parents, how they treat their family, different things like that. You look for those little things. That's important. You want good kids, you want good people on your team. As well as on top of their skills. So speed, power, athleticism, all those things, that are important. And then just some of those intangibles like the good teammates and all that kind of stuff that makes, I think, for a good environment and a good chemistry for a team.
What does the official visit look like for Salt Lake Community College?
We typically have them come and spend a day with us on campus. They'll come meet with the coaches. We'll kind of go over what Salt Lake Community College is all about, what we do, kind of our timelines, our schedules, our program, the history of our program, kind of like what our seasons look like. And then we'll actually have them attend a class with some of our girls, which is a really good experience for them. It allows them to see the transition from the high school to the college level at the 2-year level versus a 4-year level. The transition is pretty similar. So they're coming to an environment where they probably still will only have 20-ish people in their classes, similar to their high school size classes, versus getting your generals at a university right off the bat. You're going to be in an auditorium of 100+ students. So it shows them the transition from high school to college is a little less overwhelming, a little less stressful. So that's kind of our reason for it, is just to kind of show them that it's a nice little stepping stone in your college education. And then they'll come to a practice, they'll watch our practice, and then depending on where we're at in the season or what we're doing, sometimes they'll get to go spend the night or the weekend or whatever in the apartments with our girls that live here near campus.
Of course, as an assistant coach and an alma mater of the school, what is that like when you get to see them put on that jersey for the first time that you got to put on as a player?
My favorite thing is seeing them be so excited about it. Nowadays, it's all about social media and pictures and all that kind of stuff. So the minute they first have those uniforms on, whether we're at a fall game or doing picture day, it's pictures galore. They all have their phones out and they're just snapping pictures like crazy. So you can see that they have a lot of pride in that, and that means a lot to them to wear that uniform, and just seeing that their faces light up and be proud of that moment and want to document it is always fun to see. I love that part.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've built upon from your time as a player to now as a coach?
It's pretty similar. So a lot of how I coach and our culture here at Salt Lake hasn't changed. It's and that's a credit to just having good kids and having a good environment that kind of understands Salt Lake Community College and its history and our program. So it's kind of just a tradition that's been built and carried on every single year. And the culture is hard work and family, and have a lot of pride in our program and our history, and respect those that came before you. And I think over the years, since I've played to how I am now, it's continued and carried on very well, and that's fun to see. That's probably the most important part for us, is for our girls to understand where everyone came from before them, what they set the tone as, and to just kind of carry that tone on as a Bruin.
What are some of your future plans in your coaching career at Salt Lake?
We want to win a national championship. That's our goal for sure. And just kind of keep building the program, maintain that that tradition, and that just the tradition and the positive vibes, the energy, the environment, all that kind of stuff. It's the traditions and the work ethic of our program is something that we take very seriously, and we want our girls to do that as well. And as long as we can get our girls to buy into that, the tradition will carry on. And that's probably the most important part for us. And that's the most important part for me, is for them to understand kind of who and what built this program, and to carry that on, to let that just kind of keep growing and building.
What advice would you give those high school athletes looking to play on the college level?
Do your research, know what you're getting yourself into. It's a full-time job. It's a grind. But like I said, it's the best full-time job you could ever have. go to camps, go on visits, kind of know what you're getting yourself into, know how the coaches are as people, know how the players' interaction with the coaches are, how the players' interactions with each other are. Really just kind of understand the environment you're getting yourself into and love it. Go somewhere that you're gonna love your experience more than just saying you went somewhere because of the name of the school is. It's a commitment for sure, and you want to go somewhere that every single day you're loving softball and you're loving that work ethic, you're loving that grind. And that's probably the most important part, is make sure that you're all in on that and you're ready to commit to it.
What advice would you give those college players on the community college level looking to go to a 4-year program to finish out their playing career?
Work hard for sure. The 2-year level there's just kind of like a running joke with all the JUCO people that, like, the JUCO life is a different experience, and it's a great one. They're all super, super proud of it. It's so fun to always see the JUCO pride across the country. But you come in, you buy in, and you understand that work ethic, you grow, you get better, you work hard, it's going to work out for you. You're going to go to a 4-year school for sure, and you're going to be prepared. It's just how it's the nature of it. It's how it works. If you're committed at that 2-year school and you're buying in and you're doing everything you can to better yourself as a student, as an athlete, as a person, the 4-year school is going to work out, no problem. There's always going to be a place for them to go. And yeah, they'll be ready to be successful and contribute to that next program right away, which is really always fun to see.
What advice would you give those college athletes looking to play professionally, whether it's for Athletes Unlimited or Team USA?
Work hard, understand what it takes to get to that level. It's not easy. And it takes a lot of off field prep as well. Like, your practice times aren't always enough. You got to be putting in that extra work and all that good stuff off the field. It's not easy to get to that level, but if it's something you want, know how to get there and know the contacts you need, the networks you need, and what level you need to be at to even make that kind of a possibility, I think.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to represent a national team, whether it's USA, Canada, or even Mexico?
Kind of the same thing. Know who you have to be in front of. It's you obviously have to be successful. You have to have the numbers. You have to contribute to your team. You have to be kind of that person that stands out, whether you're the energy always on the field, as well as your numbers are reflecting how good you are, or that silent lead by example type leader. It's the numbers got to reflect the hard work. So you got to have the mental game right. You got to have the numbers. You got to have all that, and know the people that you have to be in front of for that, or the route you have to take to get there. Because like I said, it's a small world, and it's a hard step to get to those points, but it's definitely possible. You just got to know what you're doing, and you got to compete. You got to be successful, and you got to show that you deserve it.
Of course, what advice would you give those people that are looking to coach on the college level, whether it's assistant coaches or head coaches?
Do your time. Make sure you're gaining experience. All experience is necessary, I think. Coaching club teams or travel teams, coaching a high school team, being a volunteer for a few years out of college, just really learning and gaining as much knowledge as you can. I think the experience to be a coach is the number one thing. It's hard to see coaches nowadays come in without experience and not last. It's a continuously changing world now, and you're constantly having to learn and adapt and grow as a person still. Even with my 10 plus years experience, you're constantly learning and growing and changing and all of that. So having all of that experience behind you, I think, just allows you all the knowledge to see where you need to get to and what works nowadays and what doesn't. So I really highly recommend just getting as much experience as you can. Coach for free if you have to. Do what you got to do to just gain the experience and the knowledge that you need to know who you are as a coach.
What advice would you give those people such as yourself that are going back to their alma mater to coach?
Do it. It's fun. If you have pride in your program and where you came from, it makes your job obviously awesome. You love it every day. It's a little bit easier to love it every day when you have a lot of pride and compassion for the place that you started.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Salt Lake Community College softball program at?
We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for Salt Lake Community College. I believe most of it's under SLCC softball. We show our personality on there, I think, so it's pretty fun to follow us. We do a lot of little fun team things that we mostly show on there. It's not too much. It is softball stuff, but a little bit more of the fun stuff. And then personally, I'm on all three as well. So Tara Bent, Tara Rodrick, either one are on there. And yeah.
Thank you again, Coach Tara Rodrick, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at Salt Lake Community College as the Associate Head Coach.
Thank you, Brandon. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Tara Rodrick, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.